Hi guys, Matthew Goodwin is probably the most obnoxious political commentator at the moment. He doesn't have any real ideas, but he has a lot of rhetoric. So what he wants is people to be angry about immigration, even if the cost of living crisis and the NHS are front and centre in people's minds. He wants them to forget about those and instead focus on small boats, people in ex-hotels, crime and the black economy. He has been one of Reform UK's most vocal supporters, and here he was attempting to manufacture consent.
Courts are putting foreign criminals ahead of British people.
What's the alternative?
I've told you.
Some sort of populist decision by people like you.
Populist decision.
Well, that's what you're saying.
I'm going to give you my alternative. Do you want to hear my alternative? Here's an alternative. We leave the European Convention on Human Rights. We reform the Human Rights Act. We have offshore processing, and we make it clear that we're going to put the British people ahead of foreign criminals and illegal migrants. If you put that before the British people, the vast majority of them will say, yes, actually, I want to live in a secure country. And if you continue to avoid this issue, here's what's going to happen. You won't just be looking at Runcorn and Helsby. Nigel Farage and Reform will take every seat in Labour's Red Wall. They will run through Wales next year, and you and I will be sat here, and you'll be saying, what about the economy? And I'll be saying, immigration matters. People want control.
It's frustrating. You know, these people have a huge platform, and they're constantly pushing this idea of immigration, immigration, immigration. Don't talk about the cost of living crisis, it's immigration. Don't talk about the NHS, it's immigration. This is the narrative that they're constantly pushing, and of course they get a massive platform on Reform UK friendly GB News. Now, he mentioned a few things here that I have to push back on. Leaving the European Convention on Human Rights. Unfortunately, he's never going to be asked, well, what about the Good Friday Agreement? I would love to ask him. I would love to sit down or speak to Matthew Goodwin and ask him, what happens to the Good Friday Agreement if the UK leaves the European Convention on Human Rights? Because it's also about taking away rights for British people, protections for the rights of British people. They don't sell that. It's all, we're coming after the rights of asylum seekers and immigrants. But if you leave the convention, then who's going to protect British rights, the rights of British people? Now, he also said we need to reform the Human Rights Act, meaning that Nigel Farage as Prime Minister and his party in power would be the arbiters. They would be the ones protecting your human rights. Does anyone honestly feel safe with Nigel Farage in charge protecting your human rights? Wouldn't you like an external court, an international court that you could go to? But of course, Reform will not sell this idea. Offshore processing was the third one. Okay, but where? Where are you going to have this offshore processing? Is this going to be like Rwanda, where you just try to send people there, but then the Supreme Court say, actually, you can't because it's not safe? Like, you have to find a place that you can send people. You have to agree with the courts. You have to understand whether it's legal or not. This is a problem with Meloni in Italy, trying to send people to Albania before actually checking to see if it's legal. Is Reform going to be wasting huge amounts of taxpayer money as well, like the Tories did when it came to Rwanda? No, we're going to promise policies and then we'll check to see if it's actually feasible or legal. And then finally he said, we're going to put British people first. But what does that even mean, put British people first? He's talking about the criminal justice system, putting British people... I honestly don't know what he means by that. Are asylum seekers and refugees and so-called illegal migrants getting off easy? Are they not going to jail? Are they not getting punished? Are British people being punished to a higher level or to a greater extent than foreigners are? You'd actually have to present some evidence to back up that claim. You can't just say it. But this is what I'm talking about when I say manufactured consent. What he's trying to do is convince people the issue is not the issue is not the NHS. The issue is not the cost of living crisis or schools or the economy. No, the issue is immigration. He wants more people to talk about that because it helps Nigel Farage and Reform. The less we're talking about immigration, the worse Reform will do. Let me know in the comment section, guys, what you think. As always, your comments are greatly appreciated. Thanks a lot.